Hello, my name is Blake Higginbotham. Welcome to Home Family Gathering, where everyone has a place at the table in the Father's house. Thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to connecting, communicating, corroborating, and collaborating with you. Remember this, you are loved, blessed, and highly favored. We're going to share our screen with you today as usual, and this is one of the last 4 books that I wrote recently and published, and they're all published in all formats, and you know where to find them. But it's a Household of Faith is the book that came after the patriarchs of the Bible, and it's going to lead us to where we need to go. Restoring the apostolic pattern of fathers, mothers, and the plurality of elders. The foundational text is this: as we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith. Did you notice that he did not say church denomination? He did not say building. He did not say church house. He said the household of faith. Introduction, the great departure versus the original intent. Every generation of believer faces a critical choice. Do we continue to manage the church structures we inherited, or do we return to the pattern shown to us on the mountain? The household of faith addresses the great departure, the slow, systematic shift throughout church history that dismantled the relational, organic governance of the Ekklesia and replaced it with the cold, rigid, institutionalized religion. In this departure, the body Messiah traded the vibrant life of a family for the corporate efficiency of a business. Oh, how true this is. For centuries, the church has functioned under replacement patterns. We have accepted corporate hierarchy as normal, a singular CEO style, pastor running and religious business, treating the saints as an audience rather than a family. And I know that there's some that they basically use these terminologies, family and all that, and they use kingdom-like terminologies. But the bottom line is they're still very deeply embedded in this particular CEO-style pastor running religious business. This comprehensive teaching is a call to align with the original intent. As the day of the Messiah continues to be more clearly understood, the Father is bringing his house into order. Are you listening to me? The day of the Messiah continues to be more clearly understood. The Father is bringing his house into order. The bride cannot meet the bridegroom as a fragmented institution. She must stand as a mature, unified family governed precisely by patterns established in the Newer Testament. Let's continue. To build according to the apostolic blueprint, we must shift our entire paradigm from the service back to the table, and from the audience back to the household and family. Let me tell you that this is probably one of the biggest issues that we are facing in our time. Even at the table and even with the family, we don't know how to converse. We don't know how to have family. We'll sit there waiting for somebody to say something rather than coming prepared to share our hearts with one another. And it basically is something that we learned over time. It's become a part of our DNA. Well, we're breaking that pattern in this house, and we're going to continue to do so, because if we come back to the table and we don't begin to embrace the household and family, then we're going to find our way out of where, really, to be honest with you, we won't ever make the connection. We won't ever understand the importance of cohesion, and we'll eventually make our way out of it. So we've got to move from this service mentality back to the table, and from the audience back to the household and family. The corporate deception recognizing the monopoly, the replacement pattern. The CEO/pastor equals a single point failure or a monopoly. Yahweh never intended for his Ekklesia to be a monopoly. He never intended to be monopolized by one particular ministry gift. He never intended for it to be monopolized by any particular ministry gift, not just a pastor. I'm not picking on pastors. I'm just speaking to what we've got. It equals passive audience or immaturity and burnout. The consumers. That's the replacement pattern. We've become a consumer-driven society, and it's actually influenced the Ekklesia of this day and hour. I'm going to call it the church system of this day and hour, have become a bunch of consumers. In other words, it's about me going somewhere to get something. It's about me going somewhere to receive something and to hear something rather than to participate, to partake of, and to be a part of. Oh, Brother Blake, that's good preaching. Now go ahead. Number one, the pastoral monopoly. And I'm going to say right now, the pastoral or any other ministry gift, any other ministry gift monopoly. The modern institutional church structure rests almost entirely on a single point failure, the pastoral monopoly. Now, I understand that there are those that are not necessarily called as pastors that are pastoring, and there are those who are called a pastor that are monopolizing. I realize we've got a problem on both sides of this issue. By placing the total weight of the flock, teaching, vision, counseling, administration, and spiritual protection onto the shoulders of a single person or a solo senior pastor, we violate the biblical ecosystem. It never was supposed to be. And if we're going to continue, it's not going to be a part of our tomorrow. The fruit of monopoly. This unscriptural burden inevitably leads to two tragic outcomes: catastrophic burnout in leaders who try to play the role of the ultimate caregiver, and chronic spiritual immaturity in the people who remain passive consumers of a weekly performance. Am I telling the truth, saints?
Amen.
Number two, the institutional hierarchy to relational order. The Newer Testament knows nothing of a corporate ladder. The Ekklesia is described in familial terms. We're talking about the household of faith. We're not talking about some kind of a CEO corporate structure. The Ekklesia was never intended to be a corporate structure. It's a family. Ekklesia and kingdom are represented by family, sons, brothers, and friends that make up family. This is the shift that has, is, and will continue to take place in our lifetime and possibly beyond. We must actively dismantle the idea that church is an event we attend or a facility we visit. The household of faith is a living, breathing entity where every member is placed intentionally by the Father, operating in mutual submission and relational accountability, restoring spiritual fathers and mothers. A true household cannot function without both parents. Did you hear me? And I'm not listening to me. I take my hat off to any of you that found yourself to be single parents, or you basically chose to be a single parent. I'm not criticizing that at all, but it's been proven sociologically, it's been proven psychologically, it's been proven every way that can be proven that a family needs both parents. Now, that might be something that's created in a relationship besides in holy matrimony from time to time. That might work, but it's not going to work any better than what's called the nuclear family unit of father, mother, children, grandparents, great-grandparents, and so on. It just will not work. Replacement family is replacement family, let's face it. One of the most devastating elements of the Great Departure was the removal of the parental dimensions of spiritual governance. Number one, spiritual fathers, provision, protection, and identity. A biblical father, authoritarian boss. There it is. He is a source of life, identity, and stability. He is the source of life, identity, and stability. And I pray that in all the years that I've been in service to the King in his domain, and especially in the household of faith, which I have served for a long time, and more specifically in my own household, that's what I represent, a source of life, identity, and stability. And if you're not identifying with what we represent, and you're not stable, then I have some part in that. Affirmation over control. True spiritual fathers do not use people to build their own ministries. They pour out their lives to see the next generation outgrow them. Oh, has there ever been a more true statement than that? They provide a safe spiritual canopy, ensuring the family remains anchored in sound doctrine, protected from spiritual predators, and secure their identity as sons and daughters of Yahweh. Number two, spiritual mothers. They nurture discernment and wholeness. The institutional system has historically sidelined spiritual mothers, leaving the local assembly deeply out of balance. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? I've often said this, and a lot of people get mad at me when I said that the religion of Christianity, more specifically Western Christendom, and Islam have a lot in common in that they have subjugated and suppressed women in the ministry. I'm not just talking about in the pulpit. I'm talking about service in the ministry. The matriarchal absence, without the active presence and authority of spiritual mothers, the church lacks essential nurture, governance, emotional safety, and deep intuitive wisdom. We need spiritual mothers, not just spiritual fathers. And we don't need spiritual mothers acting like spiritual fathers or saying that they are fathers. We need spiritual mothers being spiritual mothers. The restoration, restoring spiritual mothers brings a vital dimension of healing, relational cohesion, and maternal discernment into the house, ensuring that the flock is not just instructed, but they are cared for and brought into wholeness. I'm going to stop right there today. Thank you for joining us today. You are always welcome. And until next time, this is Blake Higginbotham with Home Family Gathering. You can find all of my books and music at www.books.blh.me and www.musicbyblh.me. Blessings to you and your household and family.
Home Family Gathering is a listener-supported ministry and we appreciate your support. Apostolic Kingdom Alliance and Blake Higginbotham are supported by the generous contributions of friends and family. We are grateful for your continued support in the ongoing work of Apostolic/Kingdom Ministry. Thank you.